Yo, what's up? I'm back with another video. I took a lot of your suggestions from last time, and I'm hoping to implement them into this one. Just, kind of just recording this, honestly, because I don't really have anything else to do. I'm just kind of chilling, but today I got 3. I'm going to try to build 3 more. I know last time I said 5 or however the fuck many, but ended up being an hour just for 3, and I don't even think those teams were particularly high quality, so... But it was a good exercise in speed building type stuff. I think that's something that's pretty valid, is being able to identify those types of decisions like very quickly. Though it doesn't particularly mean anything if you're able to do it fast. So either way, back out here with another video. So I have a couple ideas here. These are a little, I know the last 3 that I built were particularly standard, I would say. This time I have a few cool ideas. I have Hidden Power Ghost Gyarados, which is a pretty cool set that allows you to get around Gengar with, oop, I just deleted that shit, whoops. But it allows you to get around Gengar with bulk 4 Hidden Power Flying. Because Gyarados Hidden Power Flying, fun fact, is just about as strong or slightly weaker than Ment's Hidden Power Flying, because Ment has 135 attack and Gyarados has 125. So Gar HP Flying Bulk for Ment also works for Gyarados. So HP Ghost is a cool way around that, and it's something that Gira can, it's workable with Gira because it also accomplishes. I'm trying to type while also talking, while also pretty tired, so this is going great. But it also accomplishes getting some chip on things like defensive Starmie, which HP Flying is also something that's capable of doing. Still lets you hit Celebi, still lets you hit Claydol, you know, things like that. It actually lets you hit Claydol. Is it harder? I'm actually not sure, but I don't want to do the math in my head, but it allows you to hit things. It allows you to still hit most of the things that check it pretty hard while also killing Gengar, which is pretty cool. You do lose a little bit of your kill power, which Gyarados as a DDer in this tier is not really, I would say, isn't really particularly known for its kill power anyway, compared to Mence and Tar. I would say it's more known for being a setup threat that compresses being Spike's immune, having Intimidate, and a good defensive typing on top of Dragon Dance. And that's what makes it useful. And it has the ability to land chip on a lot of things pretty consistently, but I think the notion I just don't think it's nearly as good as the other 2, but who knows? I've actually never tried Ghost Gira before, so maybe this will be good. I don't know. So my first thought with Gyarados is, of course, we're going to need good old Magneton. One thing you'll notice about this coverage is, and Gyara's coverage in general, is it has a lot of trouble hitting Skarmory. Like, a lot. It's kind of fine into 40. It's better than into Skarm. But it's still, like, I think if you're gonna run Gyro without Meg, it has to be DD Taunt, and then you lose your ability to chip Pert for your other endgamers, or you lose your ability to actually beat Pert, because DD Taunt is usually Rock to actually muscle through Skarm after, because you get to like +3, +4 against Skarm most of the time. But or you just keep forcing it out, which I really like that set. I think it's very good, but I think I find that with that set, you're using it more as a Skarm denier and not as like a setup type win con. DD Taunt, of course, still does go crazy versus stall type builds. Like, you can set up, like, if you can set up versus like Thunder Wave Blissey, like standard Ice Beam T-Wave Toss Soft Whale Blissey gets fucking owned by a DD Taunt Gira. It's really awesome. But, of course, without Hidden Power Flying, where it's a little weaker into that stuff, which Magneton I'll come back to in a sec, but I'm thinking the next pairing should be another thing that can kind of hit Blissey and also benefits from Magneton. Not something that necessarily, like, Not something that necessarily relies on Meg, but something that just is benefited by it, I would say. So my eyes are on Heracross right now for that slot. Hera is another Mon that can kind of have some trouble with Skarm, and also, but is also very, very strong into a lot of the like more balanced type builds. Megahorn is just ridiculous. Like, even without Swarm, like a 120 base power stab move coming off 125 base attack, usually adamant, sometimes with a guts boost, sometimes with a swarm boost. It's just like, there are nothing that doesn't resist it is living. So that's why you can catch it running like Rock Slide a lot of the time. But that's why I think Hera's most important move a lot of the time actually ends up being Rock Slide in practice, or Hidden Power Ghost, depending on if you're a crackhead or not. But for the third slot here, I would say we're probably gonna need spikes with this. Gira misses out on a lot of extra damage from having Ghost over Fly. So having like one extra spike to make something a 2-hit KO instead of a 3-hit KO, so that it can't recover in our face, is pretty important. So we will be putting a Skarmory on this team for sure. And then, what do we need right now? We're pretty soft into electric types. So we could finish this with like Claydol plus Metagross. Could be fine. It's pretty fire weak then. We do have a Gira and a Doll though. No Wisps. Well, Gira plus Doll plus Guts Hera is enough, I think, for that. The main problem is Moltres. Instead of Doll, we could also go Blissey. Yeah, Blissey could be okay. I think Blissey makes sense here with this. You have enough other ways to deal with things that annoy Blissey. Like Skarm Gira is enough to deal with fighting types and Metagross. The Rock Resist we're gonna add will help with Physical Tar. And Heracross, of course, is something that can offensively beat a lot of those things as well. So I think I want to say this should be meta, but I also think having a Pert would be helpful. We could also I just deleted something. It was Skarm, yeah. I think Skarm Pert is fine. I think it should be Pert that has some way of dealing with other Pert well. I think water is good. Still, I think we still want a water move. We need a Q because this team is pretty soft and well, not soft, but is annoyed decently by Rachi at the moment. Speaking of Rachi, well, I mean, Gira lives neutral T-Bolt, so that should be fine, I think. I honestly think, maybe instead of Pert, we could go with let's just consider our options for a second. So we have Meta, it's like Meta, Flygon, Swampert, and then if you want to go further down, you can find other shit, but I think Meta, Flygon, Swampert, I think out of those, Pert is probably best here. I would say so, yeah. Okay, so how do I feel about Hera? I'll keep building and then we'll see. So I think this Meg, on this team, our lead is going to be Honestly, this doesn't seem too bad. That honestly doesn't seem too bad, yeah. Because with, you could actually, if we're banded, we don't really need Focus Punch. We could just run Ghost over Focus Punch to help also own Gengar. Well, I don't know. I think both are okay. I think the fact that we have Ghost Gira means Focus is probably okay. Because if we chip it with Rock Slide, we can set up on something and then kill it with Ghost. I mean, that works with Fly Gira too, is the thing. The nice thing that Ghost Gira is doing is it's getting. I think we could pick something other than Hera, honestly. Something that appreciates the fact that we have Ghost Gira a little bit more. So that would be something that appreciates chip on Claydol, Celebi, Gengar, Starmie. Claydol, Celebi, Gengar, Starmie. So that would be like... I'm fucking blanking right now. Doll, Celebi, Gengar, Starmie sounds like a... I don't know, maybe... I guess like Flygon? Flygon also, with the Meg, Flygon is okay. Flygon also helps with Pert, Rock Resisting. Doesn't need Fire Blast because we have a Meg, so we can run sub or we can run defensive. We can afford to run offensive here because we have a Pert. I think if we're dropping Hera, it should be meta. Yeah. It should be meta over Pert. And then this looks, I think this 6, I think Ojama loaded in CI or something close to it. I remember it was for sure, there were for sure the first 4. I don't remember other than that. So, in that case, will be lead, what? That was the worst typing I think I've ever done. So it'll be this, this is good. This team is pretty wholly annoyed by Gengar now. I don't think Ghost Gira is enough. It doesn't need... it's annoyed by Ice Punch Gengar in particular. Ice Punch Wisp. I think... instead of Blissey, I could add Special Defensive Celebi. Leech Seed is also good for... yeah, okay, that's fine. Yeah, with Mag, no spin is a little annoying. But I think Mag might be enough. Yeah, we'll go with it for now. Gear Drain, Psychic, Recover, and we'll open the damage calc. I hope I didn't just dox myself. That'd have been pretty funny. Celebi. Let's just go actually blank set. Okay. Don't record videos while you're tired, guys. A lot of weird shit happens. Defgar. Wow, it doesn't even 2 KO. How about with 1 spike? Because I'm assuming we're going to be allowing 1 spike per game normally. Let's say we're going to be max HP for sure. Okay, that's fine then. 3 spikes. Oh, whoops. So... Okay, so I only need this bulk to make it a guarantee, to make it a 3-8k after 3 layers of spikes. What about with sand? I need to be really fat for that, and I need some speed at least. I want to be pretty fast with this, I think, right? I think generally in this range is pretty good. Like here. Yeah, I would say there is pretty good, right? If we can fit it. 180. That's exact. Okay, and we don't even have a nature, so let's go calm, I guess. Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. That works. That actually is pretty good. This does mean we're like really soft into fire types though. So I think we actually do need Blissey, unfortunately. Flygon, while it helps, is not really enough. And since we're super physically oriented, I think we should be... do I want to be lefties or Salac Mag? Lefties gives us an extra... well, we're fine against DD Tar. We're fine against DD Mence too. We're fine against Gira because we have a Scarm. We have a Scarm, we have our own Gira, we have a T-Wave Bliss, presumably. So that should be fine. Toss, Thunder, Wave, Soft. I can't think of a reason why we need another set besides this. It's pretty bad into Suicune as well. Suicune like counter teams the fuck out of this. How can I fix that? I mean, outplay, lol. That's the plan is outplay. Spikes, Roar, Drill Peck? No. Toxic. Actually, hold on. So we have Gira to take advantage of Pert. We have... well, not take advantage of, but Gira, which sets up on Pert. We have Flygon for some reason. Is it better to just have like... is it better to just have like Tar here in that slot? It might be. I think Sand is good here, yeah. Sand with lefties, so meta with lefties Tect Mag, BKC Tar, Spikes. Does BKC Tar... I need to figure this out. Tyranitar, Suicune, Focus Punch doesn't do enough. I need 3 spikes to beat it. To beat it consistently, I need 3. To beat Boldcoon consistently, I need 3 spikes. So what if this was Bantar? Bantar could actually be really cool here. Oh yeah, Bantar. So the interaction then is... if it's... the interaction then is you come in on... what does Rock Slide do? Rock Slide does a shit ton. You come in and you Rock Slide it twice. Yeah, with a spike up, you just come in on the rest turn. It doesn't work against Sleep Talk Coon sometimes, but We also have Boom. We have DD Gira, which can set up on it. We have a Mag, which can click T-Bolt. We have what's I think should probably be. This is really bad enough for no talks on Skarm though, so we'll leave it there. We have T-Wave Bliss. This squad can't be Kun, so we'll leave it there. Just give me the fucking next set. It's fine. I'm gonna change the spread though. I forget what I normally do. It's like one. It's like here, and then I run. Yeah, like that. Perfect. I run enough speed, outspeed, min Skarm. I'll run a little more creep on this, sure. Up to 179. Yeah, enough creep to outspeed min Skarm is good. Gets you out of the like blissey range too. Should this be fire? I think T-Bolt Fire Tox is the way. T-Bolt Fire Tox Protect is the way. That's what my gut is telling me here. T-Bolt Fire Tox Protect Lefty's Mag. Sub could also be good in the Protect slot. I'm unsure. I like Protect a little more because we have two protectors. We have two protectors already. Sub is probably fine. So we're gonna make this. I don't want that. Why did I even click that? Should be modest, I think. I'll make it 222. Yeah, that's fine. I think I actually want an odd HP number. So put 223. Cool. And then meta. I'll run 16 speed, and then I normally run max HP. I'm always running adamant meta. I don't really run impish meta like that, even though I know it's really good. Something like this is probably okay. I usually run a little less attack though, like around here. It's usually something like that. Depending on the team, I go fatter. If I needed to be fatter physically, which I might on this team. We have an Intimidator and a Skarm, we should be okay. So we'll change that to spit up basically. That is the Skarm spread basically. It's like the only one I use. I use a lot of speed on my Skarms normally. Like I never run less than 20, ever. I hate getting outsped by random shit that's creeping me. This is gonna be. Should it be bold? Bold or impish? Oh, I'm so far away from my mic. Apologies, guys. But we're bold or impish. I think bold. Yeah, we'll go bold. Okay, so I do kind of like modest though. Yeah. Well, even on teams like this, I feel like modest bliss is just so good. But yeah. I'll drop this team in the description when we're done, but here's the Ghost Gira 6 I came up with. Next up, this little guy here. He's pretty cool. This spread lets you live Zapdos T-Bolt, which is pretty cool. Lets you live Zapdos T-Bolt and then get another spike off or a boom. Spike cannon. Spikes. I've been liking Spore Wisp recently. So normally with Smeargle teams, people tend to run like, I don't want to immense attack. I would rather have like 2 extra % of boom damage. But normally with Smeargle teams, people tend to be running like, oh, it's I led with Smeargle, so I need like 2D Deers, Arrow, 2D Deers, Arrow, Off-Star, and like all that other bullshit. I don't think you need that necessarily. I think Smeargle works just fine in his own right as just like somebody that sets spikes early, as long as you have a way to deny rapid spin. So somebody like Gengar works pretty well for that. As long as you have a way to keep them up, I think he works just fine as like you can run something not quite as offensively oriented. It's still going to be pretty offensive for the most part with Smeargle, but you can run something a little more mid-rangey, I think, if you have something like Gengar and the ability to keep spikes up long term. Though it is worth noting, Smeargle is really, really good at getting one layer of spikes. He is really not so good at getting any more. So I've tried doing Smeargle plus another spiker before. I think it's something that can work, but I think for the most part you just want to take advantage of Smeargle's disruption early game with spore spikes, etc. But I think the first natural pairing I think of with this is DD-Ments. We need Gengar obviously, but DD-Ments is really, really good with a spike up, and he's a great endgamer for this team in particular because with like one spike and some chip on Swampert and some chip on Scarm, like the whole tier goes down. Which is why I think this should be maybe not off guard, but it should be grass, I think. It can also not be grass, I'm not really sure. Depends on well, let's think. So we want oh, I just had an idea. What if we have a Doug, right? So we try to get Smeargle, well, no, we wanted to just set spikes first, whatever. I was thinking, like, what if we boom versus the T-Tar, and it gives us, the ability to clear the weather for the rest of the game. That could be pretty cool. But I think these two are a good start. I don't really know. On these types of like hyper offense teams, you tend to need like one to two like good glue Pokemon that can kind of come in on anything. For me recently, that's been Salecdol, but Snorlax also works here, and I have teams with both of them. Salecdol is very cool because it has both the move Rapid Spin and the ability to get faster than Aerodactyl with a Salac boost, which is not something that anybody else has, I don't think, and nobody notable at least. It also has Explosion, which is pretty cool, and it does not the worst damage with Earthquake if you pump its attack. Though one thing that is a little shit is you do need to run Jolly to get faster than Arrow. I believe it's 262 puts you at 393. So 264 is the minimum. I forgot that was a jump point. So you just run something like this, right? And it's like, it doesn't do like the most amount of damage, but it's really good. This is like a really solid DD-Tar answer for these kinds of teams, because you bring it in on DD, you click Earthquake on HP Bug, and then you get faster. And if they're bugless, you just win immediately. If they're bugless, you just Quake them twice and win immediately. You don't even need to pop your Salac. But yeah, this guy is excellent blue for these types of teams. I think as well we want T-Tar for sure. Oh, shit. The music changed. We'll leave it. It's fine. So, the last half an hour was just, some music from Morez. This is something else. I think it's just a mix. I'm good with it. So, okay. So, the nice thing about, like, Lumtar and these types of teams, right, is it can turn a Pokemon like Gengar, which you think would fucking rail this team, into an opportunity. Instead of just like, getting owned by it, you can just set up into the Wisp, and then all of a sudden Gar just fucking dies. It's awesome. Well, a lot of them do live +1 Rock Slide, actually, but with, like, any prior chip at all, it's dead. The nice thing about DD-Tar is it's really good at breaking for DD-Ments, and DD-Ments is also really good at breaking for DD-Tar. So I think, in general, I'd be running, I've been running some minus defense recently a little bit. I think it was, I forget the exact calc, but there's hard grass versus Swampert. Oh, it's just okay, right? It's just this. But yeah, this doing 50% to Pert is pretty cool as well. Lets you get that nice chip off for your other end gamers. Pert is another mon that these teams tend to struggle with because you have to position really well around it because its ability to like stabilize like mid game versus these teams is really strong, and that's why a lot of these teams have something like Grass Tar or End Pert as well. Is because they need to keep the disruption flowing into the mid game, which is something that's really hard to do, especially in ADV where a lot of the threats are not really that polarizing. Well, some of them are, but it's like a lot of the threats are not really the type of mon that's like really like overpowering, I would say. A lot of them are just like, hey, this is a good end gamer, or hey, this is really strong, but it blanks into like these 3 Pokemon that are like top 10 in the tier, you know? Like Moltres is a good example of that. That bitch hits 382 special attack, modest, I believe. Hold on, speaking of which. Yeah, Gira hits 383. Did I make this banded? I didn't. I make it banded now. But yeah, Moltres, that bitch is fucking strong. That bitch is 382 special attack, and Flamethrower does so much to everything, but it blanks as hell into like Milo, Suicune, Blissey, and that's what makes it like balanced, right? And it also has a lot of offensive checks too, like DD-Tar owns it, like Lum DD-Tar in particular owns it. Arrow owns it. Anything that's faster than it and can click Rock Slide, like Flygon, shit like that is like really good at revenging it. But it's really good into a lot of the tier with a spike down especially. But it's not the type of thing where it's like, okay, this thing is like super duper, like can win the game from any board state type Pokemon, you know? None of the threats in ADV are really like that. Besides DD-Tar or DD-Ments or Arrow Rock Slide punching you. But that's a flinch, that's different. So, what do I want to put last? Salamangreat. This team really needs like a Hydro Pump switch in. Right? And some way to get consistent Pert chip. So what can I do for that? What lures Pert? Honestly, I could put Offstar last. That's not the worst thing I've heard. think it should be Grass Scar still, though, for sure. T-Bolts. Ice. Grass. Explosion, I think. It's probably for the best. I think, we probably want... We need another Mon that can really... we need another, like, something that's just slightly better at... Something that's slightly... we have this to get per chip, which is good. That's not really enough per chip, is this... Well, with one spike, it kind of is. As long as you force it out immediately, right? So what forces per out? I think like Celebi could be good on this. Yeah, that seems good. It's gonna be Super B here for sure, not Double Edge. I think Super B is a good last on this. What the fuck is the spread that I use? It's Max, and then is it this? No, it's faster than that. I think it was 308. Yeah, okay. So this type of spread. So what we can do is we can get chip on tar. We can get chip on pert with DD tar. And then we can force it out with after with Celebi, so that it has to take more spikes chip when it comes into Ments. And Celebi's also something that can like, I didn't mean to click Giga Drain. I wanted HP Grass. I think Giga Drain and Gengar is really shit. But yeah, I think this team is pretty annoyed by Blissey as a whole, despite being fairly physically slanted. So this is the kind of team that will super destroy offense, but will get kind of owned by Blissey. So I think maybe, hold on, I think maybe instead of Claydol, we're gonna go with Snorlax. I think Snorlax is better here. So we'll have Curse. I like Curse EQ Shadow Ball Self-Destruct. But I think here we might want... We don't want to be walled by Gengar is a thing. I'll just run it. Moving up Bliss is not the end of the world. And EQ, plus one EQ is still gonna do a lot. Sorry, I just yawned there. As I said earlier, it's pretty late here. I just got past midnight, so. I also cannot lie to you. When I make lack spreads, I just drag the fucking sliders around. I don't know what any of this shit does. I like mine generally around here, especially. And then as long as it's enough to like take some physical hit, you know? Because we're getting +1 defense. I should probably... I sometimes run like 4 speed as well, just to creep other laxes. Like other neutral laxes. I don't like. I know the speed is weird with Curse, and going lower gives you diminishing returns. But I think sometimes being a little bit faster than other laxes and making it so you win the boom tie always is pretty beneficial against things that are relying on Snorlax to deal with like Celebi, Gengar, DD Ments, stuff like that. I guess not a lot of things are relying on Snorlax to be DD Ments, but 270. We're on the bare minimum. I want to go less. More attack here is better, yeah. I'll go 271. This is the normal spread that I use, is 271 Ments. Because it creeps things creeping Adam and Hera. Should this just be off guard? I think this should just be off guard. But not that fast. Alright, so like 334 we'll go with. Yeah, that's fine. I'll just go rest and attack for booms. You do lose your defensive utility of checking DD mints one time, but I mean, this team is really soft into DD tar. Like if DD tar just clicks DD once, the game is ended. That's why having Claydol was so nice. You know, honestly, instead of Celebi was a weird fit. I think this is probably better, right? Yeah, we'll bring this back. I think this is good. It was like 40 and then 216 Jolly. Yep, okay, this is good. Okay, I think this is probably for the best, right? So this has enough ways to chip Pert. You're not relying on Gengar to beat DDers because you have Lax and you have an Intimidate user. You have two DDers of your own. You have Lax and Doll to help beat those. So Gar is just kind of meant to be like a special disruptor. I guess you don't really need grass because you have Boom Doll, Boom Lax, grass. Yeah, you don't need grass. I think it's best served if it's just taunt. Right? Yeah, I think taunt. It's best served to just be taunt on this. I could see like brick or something if you really need tar chip, but I don't think you do on this team. Or Wisp, actually. Wisp beats Lefty's DD tar and also beats Meta, which is something that's pretty annoying for this. Yeah, okay. Alright, so here's what I got for Smeargle. I'll post this one in the description. It looks, I don't know if this one is the greatest, but it's pretty, it looks fun at least. Like, it looks like this would be really fun to ladder with. Smeargle, of course, Smeargle's a very cool Pokemon. But we're next, last we have Ludicolo. The set I'm thinking for this today is actually a set that I ran into recently, Hidden Grass. So what this set does is it's kind of like Venusaur in a sense. Some people may know. Yeah, this is fine. You don't need it to be super fat. I mean, I don't know. Hold on, wait. What does timid take you to? So it's not timid. I think you go less, I guess, to get faster. Nah, you want modest, I think. So the nice thing about this is it's kind of like Venusaur in a way, where it's a special wall that can annoy Blissey with Leech Seed and pass off into something a little more physically heavy, like pass off into a fighting type per se. But I think the nice thing about this Ludicolo is it's also really good into Swampert. So I think DD Ments is another natural pairing for this. I would say DD Ments and Spikes would go very well together, would go very well with this. So Salamence. Here, you know what? Let me go grab that spread just to make sure I'm doing it right. It's in here. Yep, that is the right spread. Okay, cool. Oh, it's Gigalast though. Okay. Not HP Grass. I guess that makes sense. So you want DD Ments. You want Spikes for sure. You probably don't want Ploy. Though, Ludi is actually remarkably good at switching into T-Volts. Or, not remarkably, but, like, surprisingly. It's better than you think it would be. Stab T-Volts still give it a little trouble, though, especially with Spikes. I think a Spinner would be really good here if we can afford it. I think Claydol. Haven't decided on my Spiker yet. Sting coverage. What is this thing? It's really bad into Blissey as well. So we need, I would say Meta should be our rock resist here. Scarm's going to be the best at keeping spikes up consistently. And then lastly, I would say we probably want something that can hit our opponent's Scarm. I think maybe Molt here could be good. Molt also helps with Metagross, which we have a Scarm for, but Molt as a secondary answer is never bad. Wisp Molt also puts a lot of pressure on, like, Wisp Molt also puts a lot of pressure on builds that are relying on, like, BKC Tar to check it. Though, like, if you Wisp it on the switch, Metagross and Scarm and Doll Wall for days. Is Molt the right answer here? This doesn't look right to me. Let's think. So, Ludi plus Molt, Ludi plus Roar Molt. So none of this is really super owned by Bliss then, especially with spikes down. Okay, I think it's fine if it's Roar. Yeah, I think you want it to be Flame, Grass, Roar. Tect could be cool here actually in the last slot, because it gives you Leech Seed and it also makes it so Arrow doesn't. It helps with mid grounding Arrow, but I think Roar is a guarantee. We have to have Roar. I like Overheat as well, but I think we have enough. Do we have enough stuff that really annoys Blissey on this team? Flame into Overheat is so good. Fuck, I don't know. Yeah, I'll give it Overheat for now. Meta DD-Ments Leech Seed is spikes is good, but with no sand, I think we want Overheat. So, as I said before, this bitch is quite strong. We got 382. It's only 382 because it's HP Grass, otherwise it'd be 383. Kind of feel like this should be Brick. We have a Molt. I think we can be Brick. Because what are we EQing? We're EQing. EQ is for Metarachi. Yeah, I think we can be Brick. I think it's fine. So we drop Earthquake for DD Brick, HP Fly, Rock Slide. I like that way more on this team. DD Brick means that we actually Oko Bliss instead of having to 2KO it. Like, we can set up on it and it either Okos or it does a shit ton of damage. Oh, I just bumped my mic. Apologies. But it either Okos or it does a shit ton of damage. It's not that much. It's gonna be like 180 or so. Yeah. Brick Break versus Blissey. Yeah, versus Bold. +1 Brick, just that much. Like versus no HP, Bold. Brick is like very nearly a 2KO. How much attack do I need to guarantee a 2KO with Brick? 208. Or I guess it would be 212, right? I'll check. Yeah, it's 212. 180. This is gonna be slow as fuck. We have Molt to beat Hera, so it's fine. I think it's fine to be slow. I'm gonna go down to 263. And then pump up my special events a little bit. Okay, yeah. I think this slower DD Ments will be fine. 263 is the absolute lowest you can go with DD Ments, though. I think with a Molt and this should be Drill Peck Scarm on this team. Drill, peck, roar, protect, roar. Dovers, fucking, just get this out of the way because it's easy. I'll run a little faster. It doesn't have to be that fast. 181 is probably fine. Careful, max HP. Yep. Nice. All right, so this is. Oh, on this team, I think we want to do this on this team. This is gonna invite in the tar. Is the problem? Is that something we want? I think lead DD Ments is better, right? Lead Brick Ments is better. How much should that do to lead BKC tar? Bulky DD. No, we want BKC tar. That does a shit ton. With one spike down, it's in our favor to just Oko. With two spikes down, it's guaranteed. Okay. Yeah, I like that. Okay, this looks pretty cool. I can't lie to you. Okay, let's do Claydol next. So Claydol, we're gonna need rapid spin, psychic. I think we want psychic on this team, not rock slide. Earthquake and explosion. Rock slide is good if you want to beat other fires, actually, which this team is pretty bad into. I think I'm gonna run slide over EQ. If we're using doll to check fires, I think that's what we want. Tox a molt could also be good over overheat. I think with brick we don't want overheat anymore. I think we want Tox. I think Roar Tox is just fine because Tox lets us beat other molts, I think. Yeah, which is something this is gonna struggle into. With meta Scarm, it's something it's gonna struggle into, but I think it should be okay. With that, I think it should be okay. This is the kind of team where you're gonna have to beat that kind of stuff with techs. But the 6 is cool. I like the 6 a lot. The convenient thing is this is. Oh, hold on. Let me run a calc. How much do we need with rock slide? How much do we need? So that's not gonna KO. The math like hardly changes there. We just run max attack. It does like 75. Okay, that's not too bad. I can live with that. I'll run Jolly 244 and then 112 HP then. I think that's good here. Meta, I mean, we're just gonna run same kind of spread as last time. Generally, we want. I'll run this one a little fatter, I think. Like there with. Yeah, I think that's a little better. And then yeah, so this one also does look. I like this team a lot personally. I think this. It's a little. So my first thought is it's a little soft into fire types. But specifically Moltres and Charizard, but I think Toxic on Moltres plus Ludi living one and having Hydro Pump plus Slide Claydol plus DD Ments with Rock Slide still should hopefully be enough to beat them. It's just the kind of thing where you're just gonna have to outplay, I think. The nice thing about Zard in particular is it runs Fire Blast, and you have 2 Protect Mons, so that can also help with that. Moltres is going to be kind of a pain in the ass, but Claydol is, hopefully Rock Slide Doll is good enough. A lot of Moltres are starting to drop Wisp in favor of Overheat. Shoutouts to ABR. So, I think this can work. Let me think about this. So if so Claydol is spinning for Ludi and Meta currently. was thinking, what if I drop it for something else? I think spin is good for this set. It's not needed, but it's like helpful. This team needs like a... Actually, wait, let's run some calcs. Moltres versus Ludicolo. I just want... We'll go blank. Oh, that's legitimately just fine. What? With no spikes in sand, it's like... You bring it in from any amount of HP above that, right? And it's just like... Yeah, literally as long as you hit pump, you're fine. Okay. Yeah, this will be okay then. Cool. Alright. So... And then, well, we can also calc this. Claydol. How much is it? It's not max HP, it's 112. Hold on. If it's 112, yeah, okay, so it's a guaranteed 3-hit KO, and Rock Slide does a very nice amount back. Rock Slide does a very nice amount back, even when burned, right? Even when burned, it's still doing great chip. And you can just boom on it if you're burned and use Ludi to answer the rest. Okay. Yeah, alright, okay. This is fine, I think. But yeah, so these are the 3 teams we built today. I think all of these are pretty cool. I am a little... I'm a little shaky on the second one, but I think it should still be fine. But yeah, let me know if you enjoyed. Let me know if you're trying to see more of this. I know I built one before. I did one before. Sorry, I'm just I can't talk today. But I did one of these before, and it was fun, and I got a lot of good feedback on it. So if you guys are trying to see another one of these, just let me know, and I'll record another one in the near future. I mean, I have plenty of time now, so yeah. But that's gonna be all from me. I'll talk to you guys later.